roads with you. Can't remember the last time I went without you. Where do I go? Where do I go? How will I know? How will I know? I used to walk these roads with you.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick.
And I hope nothing else breaks, because so far nothing has been working properly. But guys, hopefully that's not going to detract from this series. Welcome back to
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
But you know,
Reserve time.
since like in Alliance versus Na'Vi used to be a great matchup when they, used to be the rosters that we all knew back then. But nowadays we'll see if still should be a pretty good series. I'm Mike Loris, gonna be your caster for this game, and man, I'm just gonna freaking lose it, tilt out, and the rest of the cast is gonna be horrible. So you guys are gonna have to hope that technology is on my side today. But you know what? We have ourselves a draft. A quick look at the bans. Looks like it's fairly normal. Interesting to see Monkey King like banned out all the time in Euro, and then when you go into other regions, he's like let through all the time. Like in NA, they hate this hero. So it's regional differences, I suppose. But I think the world agrees. Terrorblade is definitely someone you got to be afraid of. Terrorblade, I think, I've been told by multiple sources, best carry in the game, and I don't think I've doubted any of those sources. I don't even know if I've ever held the opinion that he's not the best carry in the game, at least for right now. Do many things with this hero, and of course the Warlock for that additional bit of team fight. Added to the opening of Na'Vi Alliance, Legion Commander, very early pick. You know what? Can't really fault them for that. They've Legion Commander definitely one of those primo powerful heroes, and Io definitely an Alliance hero through and through, so, it's all normal there. The interesting thing comes in these bans that are kind of forced now from Na'Vi because of that Io pick, in the Slark, in the Tiny. We've seen a couple of teams mix in Bristleback. I think those are, along with the Sven, probably like the big
Seconds remaining.
as like, you know, real IO partners. But if you are going to find yourself in a lane alliance where you're going up against kind of a mediocre to weak safe lane, then you could definitely run the Legion Commander IO and just absolutely destroy it. Now up against a Terrorblade, Warlock, and now a Tusk, I'm pretty sure that's not quite going to be the scenario here if they do try to run that. The game plan usually with that lane is you get a lot of movement speed on Legion Commander, you run at the softest hero you can find, and then just right-click them down. And you can't really do that because Terrorblade will just turn around and fight you. Tusk is rather durable as well, so yeah, you might be able to get some right-clicks in, but with the Metamorphosis, with the poking from the Warlock, and the heal from the Warlock especially, I'm not really sure if that's going to be a feasible way for Alliance to at least aggressively play through that off lane. And okay, we have a new hero. Does this hero just get added to Dota? Does anyone know what this guy does? Skywrath Mage, the pick for Alliance, is definitely a decent matchup hero, at least in a vacuum, versus Terrorblade. You know, like the overall power level of Skywrath Mage notwithstanding, magic damage is definitely what you want up against that TB. Proactive silence up against that Warlock, the fact that he is able to just wander into a lane and kind of aggressively support it as opposed to the Aya who defensively supports it. Very powerful with that Skywrath, and well, a little bit better now that there's a Clockwork on the other side. Clockwork, the pick for the Na'Vi side, is going to paint a secondary target for the Skywrath Mage. The primary target is of course that Legion Commander duel. Really classic combo right there. You just duel them and drop a flare on them. And well, Terrorblade definitely not going to survive that. Tusk probably same thing. Clockwork may actually, but if he has a Blade Mail, ooh, you don't want to be doing that. That is a bad idea. Skywrath Mage, I'm not really sure if I like him defensively here at all. Like, he is paper thin, and Tusk, Clockwork on the other end. I think Skywrath Mage, they still have 0 base armor. It's definitely very low amounts of base armor, and Terrorblade does a lot of physical damage, I hear. So the Skywrath Mage is definitely a powerful hero if he's way in the back and is just not going to be touched by anyone, but not really sure if that's really in the cards. It's definitely difficult to maintain your positioning up against a Tusk and a Clockwork, who are both going to be looking to get on top of you in some way, shape, or form. Alliance, they have a hero that will try to resist that in the Ember Spirit. I do like this pick quite a bit. I mean, you look at the Na'Vi side, see the Clockwork, a little bit of crowd control effects. It is decent at chasing down Ember Spirit, I suppose, but it's not really what you want in order to pick him off. And the other stun, Tusk Punch, the Warlock Rock, it is definitely a little bit lacking as far as good crowd control versus the Ember Spirit from the Na'Vi side. Now, they're lacking their mid lane hero, and there are a couple of big mid lane heroes who still have stuns. Not the Shadow Fiend, he doesn't, and he's banned out anyway. Lina, the pick for Na'Vi, definitely would be a favorable one. I don't think I've seen Lina versus Ember Spirit and Io, but that's definitely, I would say, still Lina favored. Like, the extra juice that you give to the Ember Spirit is not irrelevant, but Lina can just put out so much extra damage that it may just not even matter. Also, you're looking at a potential puck for the Na'Vi side, get a little bit more of an early game twist onto the draft. With a Clockwork, you're usually not looking to go super late anyway, so it would be a fairly strong pick. I mean, Dendy Puck, right? So yeah, that's also a very comfortable hero for Na'Vi to run. I wouldn't mind that either. Phantom Assassin for the Alliance side. They were looking for their safe lane. Naga Siren banned out by the Na'Vi side, and PA, definitely a hero to have up against Terrorblade. Physical damage, purely that Phantom Assassin. Running into a lot of armor is definitely somewhat of a risk. A lot of physical damage. Phantom Assassin, Legion Commander. Terrorblade will have a pretty good matchup there. Still, for Alliance, this is a hero that can take Terrorblade 1v1 because of that blur. Terrorblade really doesn't want to be building any sort of MKB, although he kind of might have to up against that Phantom Assassin if he's going to look to duel her. So yeah, you have the crits, you have the blur. Usually that's just going to put you a little bit of an advantage over that Terrorblade. I don't think Phantom Assassin's going to really change the mid lane for Dendy all that much, at least from the heroes I mentioned. Still have a good matchup versus the Ember Spirit. Phantom Assassin, not really going to put damper into any of those other heroes. Oh, this is going to open up a couple of options here for the Alliance side. I mentioned Io, Legion Commander. Ooh, Storm Spirit. That's interesting. I mentioned Io, Legion Commander. Io, Phantom Assassin works in a very similar fashion. You just, tether up your buddy and then just start going. So Alliance definitely have the ability to make this Io a very aggressive hero, but I'm not really sure if that's going to be necessarily in those correct lanes, simply because Na'Vi have heroes that have just good answers to it. Like, you can try to run at and kill off a Clockwork with a lot of movement speed, but Cogs, Battery Assault, you can try up against a Tusk, but he has the shards, he'll have Warlock and Terrorblade damage behind him. It's gonna be a little bit rough. Now, the Storm Spear pickup for Na'Vi is going to give them a lot of initiation, which is going to mean that they are going to try to play at least as much as the game. Oh my god, is everything working properly now? Lucky me. But I'm not really sure if I can call it a problem of the Storm Spirit or just like a side effect of the Storm Spirit, is that though he does have a decent matchup versus the Ember, he is still up against, well, I would assume a little bit of a Skywrath Mage poking in towards that mid lane. That spam is definitely not something that Storm Spirit really wants to put up with, and if Io is going to show himself up in that mid lane as well, which is definitely possible, then Storm Spirit's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Alliance do have a couple of good spells in order to deal with that Storm Spirit. This Skywrath Mage, though, he is, again, defensively in an absolutely abysmal position. Offensively up against Storm Spirit, it does not get better than this. Point click, you're silenced for a very, very long time. So Ancient Seal to be an absolute all-star if Hanskin can actually survive. So, good luck to him. Right now, gonna load out into our lanes. Na'Vi, give that Clockwork over to the General. Saniko is on that Tusk. Over towards mid lane, it's obviously Dendi on that Storm Spirit. Biver is on the Warlock, and that leaves Pycat on the bottom lane, Terrorblade. Over on the Alliance side, Ember Spirit, played by Limp, is going to be going mid. Got Jonas Fan, the Legion Commander, in that off lane. Loda, the Phantom Assassin. EGM, the Io and Hanskin, as I've already mentioned, be playing that Skywrath Mage, and it looks like I'm not really sure if you want to be doing that as an Io and a Skywrath Mage trying to steal a rune, because when you're fighting over runes, a lot of right clicks traded. Again, 0 armor, 0 armor. Well, I guess Phantom Assassin is 4. And he's gonna start things off by working down EGM General off to the side and start poking into Loda as well. Dendi's gonna take a lot of damage from those bolts of Hanskin, but it will be a 2-for-2 exchange. Oh, shards, perfect from Saniko, trapping Hanskin in the tower. That's first blood. What an absolute baller! Holy crap! Now, we've been seeing a lot more Tusk nowadays. I think it's partially because Earth Spirit nerfs kind of catching up to him and teams kind of shying away from it, but they still kind of want that effect. And if it's not going to be Monkey King, if it's not going to be Treant Protector, it's going to be the Tusk. And man, oh man, it literally does not get better than that. Let me tell you, I've seen some Tusk shards in my day, guys, but that I have never seen before, and he's actually going to show up again. EGM at least has a tether, so shards aren't going to be fantastic at actually controlling the Io. Seems like we may have some lag, or maybe not, but still EGM up against these heroes, he does have to be careful. Again, Io taking hits, never really what you want. And if they force out a tether and still have shards afterwards, still can be a lot of damage. He'll get out of there, he'll be just fine. Take a quick sweep of the other lanes. First of all, Dendi versus Limp. Definitely a lane where either of these two heroes can die simply because they both have very low range. Even if there's no rotation, we can see already Dendi putting the screws to Limp. He's just looking for that race to level 6, and if he's gonna get a kill, fine. If not, not really a terribly huge deal for him. This is a lane actually where Jonas Fan can get quite a bit done until the Metamorphosis is actually popped. He'll take a little bit of chip damage here, but Terrorblade in his melee form with the poke-in from the Warlock is something the Legion Commander can absolutely deal with as long as he has a little bit of regeneration. We can see he's prepped up with a fairly standard amount, and he is pretty much ready to go. And of course has the Shrines, which the Ember Spirit is most likely going to be more than happy to crack into a little bit earlier on as well. Still, it's not going to be a lane where Pycat's really worried about anything. He is taking a lot of right clicks, though. A couple of lucky procs from Jonas Fan, but this is the entire point of this lane, really. You get Pycat with that heal, and with all of his insane right-click durability, you're never really going to die here as Pycat. So, expect the bottom lane to be a little bit of a quieter lane. Of course, that means we got to keep our eye on Saniko. Gonna try to give General as much of an edge as he can up towards his top lane, but of course the Blink Strike in, and the spam from the Skywrath Mage puts in quite a bit of damage. These things hurt like hell, man. Even at level 1,
Got it.
you're in range of the Skywrath Mage, you're going to be taking an absolute beating. Damage being traded, the end result still is going to be lanes that are mostly a wash. Except for that first blood, of course, but you know, Loda's still CSing pretty happily, despite being up against a little bit more of an annoying hero in that Clockwork. These cogs serving to separate the creeps usually keeps those melee heroes out of the lane. But of course, Phantom Assassin with the dagger, as long as she has enough mana to use it, is able to function normally as well. Jonas Fan taking a lot of damage over in the bottom area. Right click's gonna be pretty high. I don't think it's enough. Just barely gonna get himself out of there, and he'll shrine up in the base. Oh, Dendi getting into a fight with Limp in the meantime. EGM with the balls, trying to go for Dendi, but Suniko has arrived. Right click on EGM. Shards through, looking for Limp as well. They don't quite catch up to him, but Suniko with his rotation will be a little bit better than Io on his. And that's, I mean, it's a Tusk. What do you really expect, right?
The jovial sort.
Level 4 Storm Spirit after surviving that gank. And the door for an Ember and an Io to kill off a Storm Spirit is fairly rapidly closing. EGM's gonna do what he can here, but as long as Suniko is, again, at all in this mid lane, there's no real hope for the Io. Of course, this is going to weaken the top lane quite a bit. Clockwork still gonna go up there, still gonna do what he can to mess with Loda. As far as kill power is concerned versus the PA, absolutely need that Tusk there if that's gonna happen. Going towards the bottom lane, though, the opportunity to wall off Jonas Fan with shards is perfect, it looks like. They'll lose Dendi in the meantime, though, and there are still not many heroes here to right-click down Jonas Fan. Shadow Word has already been used for most of its duration, and it looks like he'll get back up to the high ground. There's no shrine, but he still will survive. Storm Spirit level 4, no backup. She got dove, but speaking of people dying, Hanskin will run into General, and Battery Assault is definitely an ability. Level 2, right clicks, of course, with no base armor on that poor Skywrath Mage. And General, really good read, is definitely going to get a free one. And half good read, half just seeing the Skywrath Mage, perhaps, that Observer Ward. Kills being traded. Ultimately, CS is still looking rather even, all things considered. Although Snowball in towards Limp. Shards are there as well. The chains are going to be perfect onto 2. Now as the Io comes in with the Skywrath Mage, they'll try to get some sort of return play. But Suniko's well and clear, as is Dendi. Nothing going to be happening there. They're going to leave Loda up towards top, though. We can see General already springing into action. Battery Assault is a real ability. Loda try to hug the neutrals, try to mitigate a little bit of that damage, and for the most part, it'll be kind of a waste of General's time to even try to go for that. No mana on the Phantom Assassin. The cogs starting to hit that critical massive mana burn. 25 mana is not that much, but it seems like a lot when you have 0. Some fan bottom lane, right clicks, not quite enough again. Legion Commander has been playing things a little bit fast and loose on in this game in general, but still surviving is all that counts. DS wise, tied up, and oh, chains onto Dendi. Snowball's gonna slow down Limp a little bit, but Hanskin's bolts do so much damage, and they're still gonna work with that Flame Guard to roast down Suniko. Not quite enough damage to get the kill there, but Dendi, he has the backup, is right, but not as right as Limp thinking that he has his. And roaming Skywrath Mage. What year is it? Please somebody tell me. Roaming Skywrath Mage up against roaming Tusk? We're gonna jump into a time machine for a little bit here. General is gonna wander into Limp, who does have a little bit of mana now with the stick charges, so he's not in any danger whatsoever. General's taking a lot of damage. Here's the jump forward is committed, though the snowball will buy them a couple seconds worth of time. Shards to block off Limp's escape. General put up cogs. That'll trap EGM. I don't think he has enough. No, he does. He's just gonna right click Suniko, looking for a clutch escape, but dies anyway. Although jump back in from Limp is gonna get them a return kill. 2 for 1 so far. PA now showing her face. Dendi with the ball is gonna get himself out of their hands. Taking tower shots. Gotta watch out there, bro. And General with the flare, not quite enough. General does not have his level 6, and Pycat also, of all heroes, is going to show up without Metamorphosis. On the list of things that are scary, Metamorphosis is definitely on top, but Terrorblade without Metamorphosis, with only one reflection, is not really all that much of a threat. Kind of a odd move there from Na'Vi. Someone was making the call, hey everyone, get your asses over in mid lane, shit's about to go off. Pycat was, I guess, following orders, good player, but there's a lot of time off the lane for a Terrorblade, and a lot of time in lane for a Legion Commander. See that CS gap starting to shrink a little bit as Jonas Fan just a couple of minutes, just one wave, 1.5 waves, no Terrorblade because he didn't even teleport over in mid. He walked mid, and then he didn't even teleport back. He had to walk back as well, so this Terrorblade just wasted a hell of a lot of time to do literally nothing. A little bit of a rough exchange there, though. They're looking for Jonas and Fan. Shards will catch slightly. There's a reflection. There's the Metamorph as well, but with Limp teleporting in, not much they can do about it. Doesn't really have a lot of spirits to jump to. Looks like Ember Spirit's TP, his rotation, kind of forced with a little bit of a poke play there from Na'Vi.
Tower is under attack.
Still, as long as Pycat's in this lane, as long as he's farming, they don't really need to bank this lane on any sort of kill action. If they get it, fine. If not, whatever. See, receiving a little bit of love over in the mid lane. Same exact thing, pretty much. Oh, Jonas and Fan, he is gonna drop! And the hookshot would have canceled the TP anyway, I think would have been in time. Finally, they get the kill on the Legion Commander, Dendi. And they get triple jumped by Limp. I think he dodged that last one. It definitely seemed like he didn't take all the damage there. And with a haste rune, you know, Storm Spirit's pretty fast. At his first hookshot from General used, can't really blame him for missing that one, but still, the cooldown on hookshots, it doesn't really feel like a black hole or anything like that. When you're playing Clockwork, it feels so long, that level 1 hookshot cooldown. It's like, God, when can I just go and kill someone again? And you could tell that he is itching to do so. The build that he's been allowed to go for, maxing out the battery assault, gives him the most kill power possible. At Scarif Mage, the IO, to some extent the Legion Commander as well. Phantom Assassin is a tough sell. You have to force out her blink with someone else. Have Dendi jump on the Phantom Assassin, then have her blink out, or have the shards force her into a position where she needs to leave through blink, and then you hookshot her. A little bit tougher, but still possible. Ember Spirit just impossible, so that's never gonna happen. Pycat still be farming. Jonas and Fan looking at that level 6 pretty soon. Fortunately, Scarif Mage is a little bit behind that, as you would expect, really, but they're going to make that pretty classic rotation nowadays. Get the mid laner or the safe laner, whoever's probably more capable of jungling, into the jungle or on the roam, or, you know, in this case, jungle. Get the supports over in that lane. So far, we haven't seen that move from Na'Vi. It is most frequently done on Warlock, I would say, simply because he has the most to gain from being level 6. But in this context, the Scarif Mage has a lot to gain as well, so we don't see Scarif Mage all that often, but it still works. General, that fresh hook shot, link some people up. Meantime, just buying a little bit of cover for Pycat to go to work. Tower damage on Terrorblade? What tower damage? Yeah, he's going to destroy that one in the blink of an eye while tanking tower shots all the while. And Limp, he's smoked up. Is anyone else smoked up? Did they all just not smoke? Hookshot in is off the mark from General. Still flares, sees 2, realizes he probably shouldn't be here. Gets leashed down, but with the cogs, they'll respect the Clockwork's defensive power and back off, but the jump is there. Snowball will catch Limp, shards the block as well. He does still have a lot of juice, plus with the Shrine. Na'Vi have overcommitted here. Walrus Punch onto Limp. They'll try to focus him down, but a huge overwhelming odds from Handskin is going to destroy Saniko. And now the taunt in onto the Terrorblade. The cogs go up, protecting the Terrorblade by quite a bit, and he's going to go down, but it will not be a dual win. Still for Na'Vi, they've run out of gas. The Clockwork's going to be leashed down. He's going to try to make it out, but the overwhelming odds again will crush the health pool of that poor Tin Man. An Alliance, off of just a couple of level 3 overwhelming odds casts, are pretty much just going to destroy Na'Vi. And, I mean, that's just the difference of not having that Warlock level 6 and a couple of more experience levels. That could have been very different. Trying to go in for an Ember Spirit and then into the enemy Shrine, Granted, they didn't really fight in the shrine, but you don't really want to be touching this at all. And you don't really want to be trying to overcommit towards an Ember Spirit either. They don't really have enough control to effectively lock down an Ember Spirit, and they really won't have enough control until, I would say, Dendi picks up an Orchid. It's going to be a long time before they can realistically kill Lim, focusing him first thing, especially with an Io who you know is behind you, especially after you've missed the hook shot. Just a very greedy, aggressive play there from Na'Vi, trying to leverage the shards, and you know what, again, I do love me some Tusk plays, but there's a time and place to capitalize off of shards, and that is definitely not it. They will give Biver a little bit of time over in the bottom lane, have the Pycat Terrorblade rotate out. Pretty standard Terrorblade moves. Take your own tower, or even don't take your own tower. As soon as you have Metamorphosis up again, just go in towards the other lane. Sneeko, though, we're in mid, is in a little bit of a pickle. Silence now, and with the flare, oh my god, he's super dead. So dead that Jonas Fan couldn't even arrive in time for the duel. That's Skywrath Mage for you guys. Now, Skywrath Mage, I suppose, gets a lot stronger with the addition of shrines. Just the fragility of this hero makes him a little bit prohibitive as far as making him a mainstay pick. Io to some extent as well. Wow, that's sick dagger dodge from Dendi. All planned, obviously. By the way, over in mid lane, Limp taking a tower. Sneeko gonna drop a Walrus Punch on him, but again, you're never gonna kill that Ember Spirit. Does secure the tower, as does Pycat up towards top lane, so fair is fair. Notice some fans sitting on an Observer Ward, has a lot of backup behind him. Dendi knows and sees everything. Does he actually want to fight this? He's going to jump in towards Legion Commander, but now the Io going to jump in as well. Reflection does go up, as will the Metamorphosis. Here comes the Snowball and the Tusk. That'll be two dropping instantly in general. He found himself his target. Finally, it's Hanskin in the cogs and down. Limp off to the side, Loda off to the other side. Nothing they could really do about that. Loda really doesn't want to be in these fights if he can help it. He wants to be in those 2v1s, those 3v1s, or the 1v1s up against Biver. Rolling lucky, Loda is not. Loda, the hero switcheroo there. A lot of fast damage going in towards that Legion Commander. Power treads, not even a poor man's shield, and Pycat at this point working out with the maxed out Metamorphosis. Gotta respect that if you're Alliance. Your combo of the Skywrath doesn't land. Well, they're gonna try to go for Pycat, but a quick snowball from Sneeko is gonna get him a little bit of extra time to get that Sunder off. He is gonna run out of his Metamorph though. Limp is low on mana. Can they kill off Pycat? By the way, people are dying elsewhere. General seems like he maybe even trade for an Io in a 2v2 that happened over in bottom lane. Classic Mike chooses the wrong fight to watch because it looks like stuff is gonna happen, and then it just doesn't. Feels bad, man. But hey, I mean, it's only an Io kill for the Na'Vi side. Alliance can be pretty happy with that exchange. He got the kill. It was EGM, and EGM got the kill, then died. A little bit of extra gas for Dendi, building in towards that Bloodstone. He's gonna be certainly happy about that, but you know, Io getting levels is definitely a threat as well. He already has the maxed out balls. Overcharge on the just defensively period is gonna be pretty sick up against Na'Vi. But of course, if you drop that on your Phantom Assassin, your Legion Commander, they're gonna be tearing people apart. If Limp knows where Na'Vi are off of that flare, it's sometimes really easy to read where the flare comes from if you're, you know, if your screen's in the right spot. If you're not looking there though, you just get hit. You don't know. General wandering in. He's gonna find a hero that cannot defend herself. Although the Mud Golems are gonna defend her for her. They chase after that Legion Commander. Still, they're gonna wander off to the lane. They'll see a couple of eyeballs, and oh no, not this again! I remember this. He's gonna get pushed out of the cogs, but gets punched in the air. And Hanskin gonna fall. Dendi looking for a little bit more. You know that there should be a couple heroes perhaps in the area. They'll see Loda, confirm him, but know that EGM's the one that they have to take care of, because the relocate's the only way they get out of this safely. EGM is going to tether away. Loda's going to get a rock dropped on his skull. He's going to jump in towards Biver to try to get himself out of there, but there's a snowball, there's lightning balls, there's all sorts of balls here on Na'Vi. They will kill off everybody who decide to stick up on this top lane. Pycat, does he have Metamorphosis? You bet he does. And it's time to roll forward. Tier 2 is not long for this world. Dragonlance, level 4 Metamorphosis, level 4 Illusion Conjure. And a Golem there as well, just to clear out the creep wave. And the fact that Alliance really don't want to be in these team fights. They really do want to divide and conquer. They will be forced into action, though, knowing that there is no hook shot. There is no chaotic offering, obviously. We'll move in. Snowball is going to disperse smoke on everyone and stun 3 heroes on the incoming. Sanico already with a huge opening. We'll get flared for his troubles, but that will probably get the Joseph. No, it'll be Limp doing a lot of damage over towards that terribly, but Dendy's going to jump in with General, get an instant double, and now looking for a third as he's going to chase down Hanskin off to the south. It's going to be Biver trying to handle Limp. Not going to happen. General and Dendy now converging onto this Ember Spirit who doesn't have any remnants left. He get jumped in by his Storm friend or ally or what? No, it's an enemy for sure. Limp on the run. Hog's not really working out all that well for General. And Limp has another spirit soon. Dendy doesn't have that much mana. Betrayal most foul. Limp should be fine here. He has backup, so he's just trying to bait. But if he baits a little bit too well, then Dendy and General might see Hanskin, and then that's just an easier kill. Oh, Sanico actually saw him first. Jump in with the Walrus Punch. We've seen that before. Sanico will give his life for it. When you're a Tusk, man, you gotta go for those Walrus Punch kills. At least stay consistent to your lore, because you always want to fight, right? That's like Tusk's deal. He likes fighting. Super deep lore, Valve. It's like, oh, what do we say about this guy? I don't know. He likes to fight, I guess. Brilliant, Johnson. Put it in the game. The Alliance able to isolate Pycat. Dealt with him very quickly. Didn't quite see what happened, but Sunder definitely did not happen there. Limp's magic damage. I assume that's why he was running around with no remnants to jump to. Yeah. Committed them towards Pycat. Well worth it for sure. I mean, he has the Veil. He obviously has the spell damage talent. So Ember Spirit's burst damage versus the Terrorblade is substantial. TB, although he does have that lance. The only thing that he's working with survivability-wise. Survivability from his allies, a little bit slow unless Sanico is just, absolutely insane on his timings. That Snowball, the Shadow Word doesn't really do all that much. It's level 2, first of all, and heal over time. Not going to be what you want up against an Ember Spirit with that much burst. General, though, does have Blade Mail, so Hanskin's game just got a little bit rougher. They will smoke up and see Loda. There's a shrine here, and the cogs are going to do very little, but the Snowball is still good with the battery assault. Not quite there. They'll drop a rock on the high ground and see another target even. Although Concussive is going to be launched. Dendy's still going to jump in really far into a dual flare. Gets baited by promises of kills. We'll get it, but they'll actually find Pycat in the back firing. Jump out from Limp. As General's going to secure the kill onto EGM. Snowball again. Sanico is unstoppable. Shards perfect again. That does not look like a tight wall, but it is. Apparently, Limp is stuck in a corner and will go down. General chasing after Hanskin will not catch up to him, unfortunately, for the clockwork. But it's going to cost them mostly just the Storm Spirit and his Bloodstone charges. He's back up again, so he's ready to kick into full gear. Hanskin actually, a little bit close there, but he's going to survive. Pycat's just going to let loose on this tower. 9,600 net worth on this Terrorblade. Obviously, the faster the more farm he gets, the better. But as Alliance will struggle to end up killing Terrorblade, once these stat items come up, then Navi will get into a position where they can just force objectives and even will be able to fight at relative parity should the Clockwork not have his hookshot or should the Warlock not have his ultimate, just because of how strong they can, use their Terrorblade. How strong the Terrorblade is and how much they can use him. And of course that Manta style, all-star up against those chains, get rid of the slow from the Phantom Assassin, but the big deal, being able to get rid of this this Ancient Seal from the Skywrath Mage. Get rid of that, and you probably guarantee yourself a Sunder, unless you're dueled. EGM is almost dead, now dead, and then you get chained down. He has a little bit of mana, but gets crushed by the Goomba Stomp of the Ember Spirit. Blink Dagger, Remnants, Dendy. Again, baited by the promise of kills. That is the route change in effect right there. No Alliance hanging around. They do have Vlad and Deso on the Phantom Assassin. Alliance ever find good 30-40 seconds of downtime, they will be able to jump into Roche and tear him a new one awfully quickly. Against Storm Spirit up against Clockwork Flare, not an easy thing to do. They have to win a team fight beforehand. And winning a team fight beforehand will of course require no one to get picked off by this aggressive move from Na'Vi. They're going to teleport everyone and their mom up towards that Roshan shrine. Picat's just going to start shoving it in. Alliance right now, they'll want to be looking for those pickoffs. You can see it's pretty darn difficult when they have, well, actually literally no observer wards in the map. One sentry is going to do very little. Whenever you have an IO on your team, you always really do need a lot of observer ward coverage. I mean, that's what makes Relocate strong offensively, just being able to find those guys out in the middle of nowhere. I like this one, just being able to, you can kind of read when the enemies are either going to go, from this area into either south into lane or these neutral camps, if the lane is pushing in towards bottom. That will give them, in theory, a lot of opportunities, but Na'Vi just aren't there, so that observer ward isn't really going to do all that much. Na'Vi have bigger plans. No Vlads, no problem. Dendy now with the double life, and is going to start building up towards that Orchid, so a nice answer to have versus that Ember. Nowadays, Ember Spirits don't really get items that protect up against Orchid. Still can, of course. KB, Lotus. I think Yule's is really an Ember Spirit item. Maybe if there are more point-click silences other than just that Orchid. Land that on the Ember Spirits. You can kill him, but you know at least his damage is going to be significantly decreased. Alliance. Looking for someone kind of greedy to show up over in bottom. Picat is here with a little bit of backup. That's actually a lot of backup. Saniko being in the area with Snowball, usually not going to help Picat quite enough, but with Blink Snowball, it gets a lot stronger. It's like, oh, my friendly Terrorblade got Blink dueled, well, I'll just Blink Snowball and waste the leading commander's time. It's really all Tusk needs, and he will further mess with this Legion Commander with that Yule Scepter. Of course, does get rid of that point-click silence from the Skywrath Mage as well. A little bit of a defensive itemization here from Saniko. He's played absolutely out of his mind this game. Now he just has to really just stay hidden, stay in Blink Dagger range of Picat, but hidden from anyone else from Alliance so he doesn't get relocated upon or anything like that. Jumps by an Ember Spirit. That's all he has to do. This is Tusk's life now. He's just a snowball guy. The guy you call if you want a snowball. Alliance, they are not comfortable fighting Na'Vi. In a full 5-on-5 with Aegis on the Storm Spirit, with the Chaotic Offering available on Biver. No Observer Wards mean that there's no real opportunity to separate Na'Vi and take out one person in the back. If they did have vision, this would be kind of where they would want to go. This hero who's really lagging in the back there. Of course, that's not going to work out for right now. Picat taking a little bit of a beating from this magic spam. Daggers and bolts. Chains, oh my. But they're just waiting for someone on Alliance to get a little bit stupid here. Look for that jump in. Get a clean angle on the Clockwork, clean angle on the Storm Spirit. As Na'Vi, you can pretty reliably count on one hero pretty much immediately to die at that stage. It's like they'll back off. Metamorphosis drying up after all. No Metamorphosis, no fight. Alliance know this. Terrorblade still farmed, but unable to actually stay close to his targets. Seeing as though he's not ranged any longer. It's time for Alliance to look for those plays, and they did see Picat with that, with all these Observer Wards actually placed in Na'Vi's jungle. So they know pretty much completely, what's the button? There it is. What Picat's up to. They see Biver as well. And they see Storm Spirit up towards top. A little bit surprised Alliance aren't a little bit more aggressively looking for a play. Pick off Terrorblade right now, you pretty much guarantee yourself a tier 2 tower. Or you know that if Na'Vi decide to fight, they'll be without their biggest right clicker. They'll slowly get into position. Jonathan Fan gonna show himself off to an illusion. That's awkward. 20 seconds left until the Terrorblade is ready to go back in again. Lincoln Sphere prepped up now. And Alliance do have a lot of kind of trash spells to throw into that Lincoln's. Skywrath Mage will just happily throw an Arcane Bolt to land an Ancient Seal, just to try to force out that Manta Style. Really does want to protect himself up against Duel, and this is the greatest opportunity Alliance have. No one is near Pycat. Pycat will push out that one wave, then fall back. The rest of his allies getting into position. Alliance, they should not have seen this smoke, and EGM is not the one who wants to run into this, though he does have a Glimmer Cape. General is going to jump in towards EGM. There's no true sight here. The Remnant didn't pop, and he's going to be spotted by the Remnant. No, just out of range, apparently. General looking deep in the trees for someone, not going to find anyone there either. Na'Vi almost find a couple of kills, but find nothing. Now we can see. That's the response, right? Oops, the enemy has invis now. It's time to get some detection. No harm, no foul. This build from this Warlock, though. River going maxed out in the Upheaval. Working against that Phantom Assassin and the Legion Commander. BKBs will be picked up on both soon, already up on the PA. So, Upheaval, Warlock is really just going to try to stay in the back as much as he can. Na'Vi, they just lose their Aegis? They did. So going in for this is a little bit bold. You have General pushing out mid with those flares. But Alliance, as long as they're in their base, the dive in without the Aegis is pretty darn suicidal.
And it's off.
Only better for Na'Vi to back off at this stage. They're all getting something here. Pycat's farming the wave, obviously. General, I'm assuming, is getting a little bit of CS here and there from mid. Alliance weren't getting anything on anyone, really. They were all just jammed up in their base. The Ember Spirit with the Travels is now going to start kicking into gear and farming, and that's not something that Na'Vi are really happy with. They can't sit there and just let Ember Spirit farm without getting anything accomplished on their own, so they have to make some sort of decision here. Will be to back off. They really don't have to go for anything until the next Roshan, as long as they're looking for these pickoffs. Put some Observer Wards up. Find a Skywrath Mage. And Skywrath is going to get jump silence immediately down half HP. Dendi is going to almost get dueled by Jonas Fan, but it's slightly off the mark. They do still land a big flare onto Dendi. And with Loda Arrival, with EGM, they will get the kill, and they're going to continue the fight now as the rock drops on two heroes in Cogs, both stuck. Lotus the BKB is going to hold, is going to jump in. Where's the Terrorblade? He's right in the middle now, but it's a little bit too late. A lot of his allies have gone down. He's going to chase after Hanskin, jumped in, duel though, and crushed by the Ember. And now it's Biver trying to TP out of there. The damage is not enough. Warlock will survive, but Na'Vi making a little bit of a bold play there. Dendi jumping in really, really far and essentially suiciding himself for half of the Skywrath Mage. It's a very frequently seen problem with the likes of Clockwork and Storm Spirit. Their initiation range is so huge, which is great for them. Not really that great for their allies. They just can't follow in time. Pycat was very, very late to that fight. And even though the Cogs and the Chaotic Offering were 100% on point, just lacked the damage output at that stage because everyone was dead, Dendi, or just trickling in like Pycat. Alliance find himself a big one. Oh, Hanskin, full of balls, spotted by General. He will not like what he sees though. 3 heroes here. He'll put up some Cogs and the Blade Mail in case as well, and he'll jump in towards the neutrals with the flare. Almost gonna do it. Dagger, is that lethal damage? No, not with the snowball. But General's still pretty screwed here as even more heroes come in. Now the duel onto Sneeko. Okay, well that was a cute snowball. Not quite what they needed though. River not hit with the chains, but hit with the dagger. And Jonas Fan still on the hunt. Oh, Jesus, that's a crit. And there was a hero here. I'm not really sure. There's just a bloody splotch on the floor now. Alliance are finding Na'Vi separated. That right there is what they were looking for the entire game. And one hero off in the middle of nowhere. Pick him off. See another one just coincidentally pick him off as well. And Na'Vi just end up chain feeding Alliance in a full team fight where 5 on Na'Vi runs to 5 on Alliance. We expect Na'Vi to have a slight favor there. When Alliance are able to just rely on these cooldowns almost exclusively to get these kills, Na'Vi don't stand a chance. All about those pickoffs, and now it's all about Roche. Assume both sides know about it. A hook shot off the mark from General. It's level 2 hook shot though, so the cooldown is bearable when you're playing Clockwork. See Roche, double damage on Dendi is running out actually, so it's not there anymore. Highcat wants in though. Tries best to tear down Roche. Or Alliance can make any sort of move, and Alliance did scout this out. Chaotic Offering on the Warlock, such close quarters. The fact that their one entrance point is, gonna be sharded and cogged. So much terrain manipulation from Na'Vi in these close quarters. We'll get them a free double life. Once again for Dendi. I think that's Roche 2. Next one will be Cheese.
And it's up.
Stupendous!
Now we'll see what Na'Vi can do to get control of these lanes.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Somehow able to pick off an Ember. Hey, look, a Lotus Orb. That will be the doors wide open. Split push really the only thing that's in Alliance in. Even when they were sieging this bottom lane, the IO was in the defense. He was not like pushing out this other wave with someone else and with the relocate, looking for the efficiency plays. So at least last time that play from Alliance was a little bit cautious. See Alliance immediately jumping into action, setting up for kills over in the bottom lane with that classic combo of Legion Commander and Skywrath Mage. Top lane being pushed out as well. Limp now knowing that it is very, very difficult to kill him off. Being able to clean himself of that soul burn? Oh baby, it's soul burn. Am I good or am I good? Lions going to try to keep themselves as safe as possible. Although the regen rune and an arcane rune on Dendi, I'm not really sure how feasible that is. Initiation range is pretty high on this hero. They're looking to group up and set a trap for Limp. Not gonna happen. Still, Jonas and Fan Hanskin are doing a whole lot of nothing on this bottom lane. Patience, man. Patience. Eventually, someone might come towards this bottom lane. Unless those flares shot earlier scouted up the Skywrath Mage, which was possible. It seemed like it was right on the edge.
Incoming.
Start shoving in top lane now. Highcat has his fresh BKB. Be a big item to have, but despite that BKB, still damage from Alliance, physical right clicks just from this Legion Commander, and from the Phantom Assassin, and from this Blade Mail as well. BKB a nice item to have, but Sunders have not really been easy for Highcat to cast in this game. Seems like he's always been dropped kind of low. Right at the time when you think about Sundering, you get triple jumped by the Ember Spirit and lose all your HP. This is a game of whack-a-mole here for Na'Vi. Usually when you have hammers of Storm Spirit and Clockwork, pretty easy to find those split-pushing heroes, but Alliance have been doing a really good job thus far. Just keeping these waves, at least as best they can, pushed out. Keep Na'Vi away from their base. Aegis is going to still have a little bit of duration here, but Na'Vi making very little progress. Although we'll finally get General pushing the bottom lane. Top lane being shoved in by those illusions. Dendi is going to dodge the dual attempts, going to jump in towards the Skywrath Mage, and now Loda and EGM both going to chase after the Storm Spirit. He's going to see everyone and get out of there. Limp in the meantime finds Biver though. Not quite what Na'Vi were looking for. Alliance instantly coming in with absolutely everyone. They're going to jump in shards to wall off the hill. At least try to, as they try to go for Jonas and Fan instead. But Storm Spirit, he overcommitted. General's going to finally arrive with Highcat, but already 3 heroes are down. Dendi's going to respawn soon, but he is not in this fight right now, and that's what matters. They're going to try to look for Limp, who actually doesn't have any more tools left, and he will go down. It's a 2 for 2 with that Aegis. High Cat still very healthy. The lanes are kind of in a decent position over in mid to push. An alliance with just a couple of supports and PA don't really have much game up against these remaining Na'Vi heroes, so there'll be a chance for them to put a little bit of chip damage into these structures. Push in mid, slide in bottom.
Dire structures are
Force out a fortification first. Storm Spirit and Clockwork means that Alliance have got to be sweating their positioning right now. High Cat will take a little bit of spam here. Soul Burn goes off towards that Skywrath Mage, gets Glimmer, but Dendi has the gem. Jumping from Lotus is going to try to save his friendly Skywrath, but that was just a space creation tactic there by Dendi. Distracting everyone from Alliance, from Pycat. Let Pycat do his job versus what matters, those objectives. Rax will fall, and of course that means the shrines are open. They don't force any buybacks or anything like that. It's still a win for Na'Vi. Not really an absolutely massive one. The Alliance still, with the split push, getting a ton of experience. That melee Rax definitely is quite nice. Taking out the shrines means that third and crucial Cheese Roshan, even easier for Na'Vi to guarantee to themselves. You have 3 Lotus Orbs coming. 1 on Clock, 1 on Storm. So obviously the one on the Ember Spirit I mentioned earlier. Okay. Lotus Orbs and Solar Crests, guys. This is the game we're playing. This is the day and age we're living. With Solar Crest Glimmer, you're getting quite a bit of farm on EGM. 2, 8, and 16. Wouldn't really expect this much, that much farm from a hero who is 2, 8, and 16. I guess 16 is quite a bit, but deaths, man, feels bad.
And it's off.
Like general, kinda wants the team to consider going for Limp. Dendi, well, his remnants are gonna be popped by Loda, and he does have a gem, so Loda's now trapped. Where's the help? Loda's gonna BKB, and he's gonna try to turn around. Snowball is there to buy Sneko a little bit of time. He will eventually jump out of there, but that's BKB forced out on the Phantom Assassin. That means that the doors are wide open for Navi to make a fight. As they jump in towards Hanskin, there's no cogs though. He's just gonna get shredded by the flare, making it even exchange so far. The Golem does absolutely nothing, although Suniko's looking for a little bit more. Jumps forward. That was chains used for nothing. Dendi's now going to jump forward. He's going to find an IO isolated, although he is going to get some help from Jonas and Fan. He's glimmered and everything. That's still not going to do that much against the gem from Dendi. Snowball right clicks. It's delayed and glitched out as all hell, but it's still a kill. Na'Vi make another 2-for-1 exchange. Metamorphosis, though, running low on duration. That Na'Vi can't really make any play afterwards. That was an absolute mess. I'm not really sure what Loda was trying to accomplish there. I mean, maybe he just thought the Storm Spirit wasn't there anymore, but Storm Spirit has a gem, and he has had a gem for the past 5 at least minutes. Trying to lean on invisibility like that. Is ruined. Not really what you want to be doing. Pycat separated from his allies. Lincoln Sphere popped by one of those trash bells. BKB forced out really early. Now dueled up. And he's going to take so much damage here. Wallspunch going to give him a little bit of help. And the duel is going to fizzle. But Pycat, will get the Sunder off onto Limp, forcing him to jump out. And now standing strong. Little Lotus is going to start critting into this Terrorblade. Not dead just yet. Denny's going to arrive. Won't be able to save his Terrorblade, but he's going to clean up everyone on the back end. It's a triple kill as Terrorblade, just as a red herring, the tank, to absorb all of Alliance's focus, meant that no one was actually focusing on Dendi. And you gotta worry about the Storm Spirit. He just picked off absolutely everyone in the back lines and is looking for one more. Speaking of picking off the back lines, Legion Commander looking to get in with the help, but gets flattened by Snowball a little bit too late there. Although Limp's going to arrive, TP out. That's not gonna happen, I don't think. Oh, it will happen! Solar Crest evasion gets 2 procs at the end. Suniko is playing well, but he's also teensy weeny bit lucky. Jeez, that was some luck. But all the focus onto the Terrorblade. They had to grind through him twice. With BKB, with that full HP from the Sunder. And he is fairly durable at this stage. Obviously, that's not really what Na'Vi ideally would like their fights to look like. But Pycat being caught out in the middle of no man's land with backup a little bit far away. Made the best out of a really good situation because that fight, unlike all the previous ones, had a Sundercast in it. That turns out is a pretty good spell. Right now, Na'Vi just looking to set up for Roche. They know that they should be pretty far ahead after that last fight. Killing off Roche, getting Aegis Cheese, will open the door for another high ground play, most likely towards top. Not really sure if Alliance can contest. Roshan is going to be pretty well timed here with Navi's ultimate cooldown on the Warlock. Although, Snako is going to get jumped. Ember Spear taking a lot of damage. He will cleanse it all off with that Echo Shell. They'll try to disengage, although this is a really good spot for Alliance to be in positional-wise. The Rock is going to drop onto Loda. The right click from Pycat can hit pretty hard with the MKB, but they slaughter Pivot in the back end. General kind of whipped his cogs there. Dendy going to jump in, looking towards Loda a little bit more, gets the pull back, and will get the kill. Off to the north is General, chasing after Hanskin. Lands a silence onto Dendy, but he can't really do anything about that. He cleans himself off of that silence, and Dendy will get another one. Now chasing after a little bit more. Spirit Aspects, Civil War here. Limp will jump out, will be just fine. Pycat Metamorphosis used, and Roshan, hey, look at that, conveniently respawning for Na'Vi. Takedown 2. Another gem here. I don't know if Na'Vi are even interested in... Wait, was that Dendy's gem? Dendy didn't die before, he just... Okay, yeah, they know about it. They'll tear down Roshan, get the Aegis, get the cheese. See what it's gonna be. Aegis for Storm, cheese for General right now. Ooh, interesting. Diffusal Blade from Clockwork. Now that is some tech right there. A little bit of agility. Obviously the reason why he's buying the item. No, it's because there's so many spells to get rid of. Spellable? Yes, on the Flame Guard. You can get rid of the press the attack, heal. Anything else? Pretty sure you can just get rid of all this stuff as well. There's actually quite a bit of value to be had for this Diffusal Blade, and obviously it just gives you purge charges for chasing. Very interesting item pickup here. It's actually pretty sweet. Is it better than another Solar Crest though? That I'm not convinced of. Get Pycat in a duel, slap a Solar Crest Shine on him. Not dying, at least not to physical damage. Pycat 7 slotted. That feeling when you can't afford to have Eye of Scotty in your real inventory. The plan is obviously, you know, backpack with BKB swap. But you know, I mean, it's, what, 7,000, 7,200, something like that worth of gold. Gonna swap out his tread instead. Gotta send in those illusions. And now Alliance, they're in a really awkward spot. Not because all the lanes are pushing, because EGM is not countering this. Limp will try to counter this bottom lane, and he can go push this lane really far. Io just can't go for these split push plays. There is a Clockwork on the other side. There's a Storm Speed on the other side. If you try, you put yourself at so much risk. Excuse me. Pycat Lincoln Sphere, popped, shards, everything is flying about. But ultimately, this tower still taking a little bit of damage here. The Alliance will lose it. Not much of a response from them. Echo Shell on the illusion of Terrorblade. Sure. Well, jump in from Limp into the backlines, chains 2 of them up, and is able to effectively dodge. Oh, the Echo Shell reflected the Snowball, actually. That's really inconvenient for Limp. And now the Rock drops onto Loda in the back end, though. It's Pycat and Dendy driving everyone else away. They separate Loda, and they're able to catch up to him and eventually pick him off. That Lotus was so bad for Limp. He just didn't seem to realize that Snowball was what happened there, and he was kind of just stuck there, not right-clicking, not doing any damage. Now the jump back in, looking towards the Io. Once again, Glimmer Kick gonna buy him a little bit of space. Duel with the flare is gonna kill off Dendy, but that's only his first life. It's still dual damage for Pycat, or for Jonas Fan rather. Pycat does not have his Metamorphosis, so he's gonna have to wander into melee up against Limp. Is gonna get the chainstun help. Snowball again from Limp, got that reflected. The Snowball is gonna be back. That's just a visual bug, I think. Like, there's no one in that Snowball. Although the Cog's gonna shove Jonas back. He did not expect that, nor did I. Cog's perfect. Now the hook shot back in towards Limp as everyone's going to swarm this Ember Spear, try to take him down. The heals from EGM and the relocate, not enough as they take him down just a millisecond before the relocate sticks with no buyback. Navi will finally claim victory. It was not exactly a clean one. A little bit of a whack-a-mole game for them that was a little bit hard to catch up to, but oh man. I did not expect that last fight to come down to
I used to walk these roads with you. Can't remember the last time my way was without you. Where do I go? Where do I go? How will I know? How will I know? I used to walk these roads with you. Can't remember the last time I went without you. Where do I go? Where do I go from here? Where do I go? Where do I go from here? Where do I go? Where do I go? How will I know? How will I know? I used to walk these roads with you. Can't remember the last time I went without you. Where do I go? Where do I go from here? Where do I go?
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right? Full steam through the setbacks. You can't win them all, but I'm proud I tried. I'm glad we had a dialogue. It's good to shake the mind. Speeding up the pace, turning up the heat. Where I need to be for the first time. Taking risks, I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel?
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team. Radiant team pick.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Epicenter qualifiers. Trying to get to Moscow, these two teams' alliance.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
But still,
remaining. Reserve time.
taking my advice to heart, they are 1-0 up above Alliance, and we have the same pick ban side thing as last game, so all's right in the world. Gonna have a game 1 rematch, perhaps. It looks a little bit like it. Io still the pick here for Alliance, and I do think that the hero is playable, but this is kind of just Alliance's biggest comfort zone. This is just what they like to do. This is what EGM does best, so you can't really blame them for going for this IO opening. But we did see a great portion of the IO's weakness in the last game. If you're prepared for the IO, if you pick it up this early, you run into some serious issues because your mobility, your global mobility as the IO, is significantly decreased. Your ability to save heroes is significantly decreased because Navi will just be looking for you. They'll have heroes that are mobile enough and have enough vision to chase you down so that you cannot yank your allies out of those bad engagements. This is a risk that Alliance are kind of going to be okay with. I mean, obviously first picking the IO does have those risks, but if it means that you can play better as a team because you just like playing with an IO, so be it. We'll see what they can do with it this time. Navi going to throw out the draft of game 1 and look towards something completely different, doing some small parts because the Warlock is banned out right now, but I think the Treant Protector was actually in that Warlock's ban slot, so a little bit of a switcheroo there. Darkseer Treant Protector is an interesting opening for sure for the Navi side. They are able to, with these two heroes, apply a decent amount of pressure towards the safe lane. Now, Juggernaut is a hero that, perhaps more so than others, will be able to resist this. But still, when you're talking about Treant Protector, just right-click harassment, it's already pretty substantial. When you also have the Ion Shell on top of the Treant, then things can get pretty redonkulous up in that top lane. And of course, when you're not in the lane, when it's the mid game, when it's the late game, you're looking at Vacuum into Overgrowth. Those are just incredible tools to have. And for Navi, they have just the Darkseer. So Vacuum into, I don't know, perhaps a Disruptor pick. A fantastic hero to have up against an IO. Great with Darkseer. Wouldn't be all too bad for the Navi side if they want to kind of dip into that pool. We also go for the... Go for a Slardar or something like that if they want to run a little bit more of a greedier lineup, a little more aggro. Go full CIS with the Darkseer Slardar in that fashion. Now, they definitely do have options except for that Disruptor banned out along with the Slark. And on the Navi side, just getting rid of some more of that IO synergy, which we didn't really see in the last game because of how hard countered that IO actually was. Still got to cover their bases. If you're Alliance and you have IO Juggernaut and you're going to say that is your combo, quote unquote, you're kind of okay with that. The movement speed on the Juggernaut, very nice. That additional sustain is quite nice as well. And the thing that Juggernaut has perhaps the most is instant impact as soon as he gets relocated into a fight. That's why you want heroes like Tiny, like Ursa with the IO. Because as soon as you yank them in, they'll do something and that will probably kill someone else. And Juggernaut has the Omni Slash, so it is definitely a nice little pairing here for the Alliance side. They also have a lot of sustain off of this opening combo as well. Healing more, doing double duty when you're talking about an injured IO, tethering back into a Juggernaut perhaps. It gets pretty redonkulous. Na'Vi, they going to go ahead and grab a Rubik, which is going to give them a nice bit of control. My concern for Na'Vi, though, is that they're going to end up being a little bit damage light. Darkseer, not really a huge damaging hero. We'll need Pycat and Dendi to really step it up in the DPS department in this game. Meantime, Alliance going to smork their way, possibly, to victory. They have Overcharge on a Juggernaut. They have Bloodlust on a Juggernaut as well. Juggernaut is just going to go ham, if that's really going to be the case. Treant Protector is a pretty good hero to have in that situation. Living Armor will protect you against those big crits, and you can always just overgrowth the Juggernaut, try to get rid of that Blade Fury. It's not really a very similar response. Na'Vi, you have so far a very, very defensive. For Na'Vi, they would want to have someone who's made at safe lane, just try to get some Ion Shell value. For right now, it's going to be Lina. As far as mid lane heroes that have damage, I would say Lina probably close to the top, if not at the top. Lina, OD, probably TA, mix that in as well, which is something that Alliance can definitely pick up now. Now, Ion Shell is really good up against that TA in the kind of mid lane, mid game stage. But TA with Bloodlust and Overcharge up against the Lina matchup, I think that's a pretty clean one for the Alliance to get. And the best thing is that you know that the TA versus Lina matchup is going to be a TA and Ogre Magi versus Lina, because Lina is not really going to get all that much help from Rubik and Treant Protector. The Telekinesis setup for an LSA is not nothing, but it kind of pales in comparison to what Alliance can do if they decide to go for the Templar Assassin at this. I do still think that this is kind of a necessity for the Na'Vi side. You know that Rubik and Treant Protector, they, again, aren't going to be really roaming around in the lanes. That means your mid lane hero has to be self-sufficient. In this situation, you really don't want to be sacking Dendi, because, again, if you miss your mid lane hero, then you're just going to run out of damage. You just don't have any follow-up. I really like this response from Alliance. Batrider with the extra movement speed, dual lane Batrider IO is not bad. But also they have now a really good hero, along with the Ogre Magi, to deal with that Treant Protector. Fire, good against grass, as I'm sure you guys all know. But they also know that for Na'Vi, their damage is really going to be heavily loaded up into just one or two heroes. Like Rubik, Treant Protector aren't really that great at responding to a Batrider. Let's just say they're not Vengeful Spirit. And Darkseer as well doesn't really have that much game up against the bats, so if you're a Batrider, you know that there's very, very easy targets to go for, and those targets are easy to go for and will have a very large impact should you pick them up with the lasso. Normally, I'm not really a huge fan of the Batrider. I feel like the hero is, I feel like as far as, on a scale of 1 to 100, where 100 is Lina and 0 is Meepo, I feel like Batrider is kind of like a 40, like, 40 percentile of strength. That's just my opinion, though, man. In this game, it is definitely looking like an easy 75.
10 seconds.
No offense to the Meepo players out there. I know some teams love it. Abed Meepo is definitely a thing, but perhaps I'm biased. Who's a 0 nowadays? Underlord? Is Underlord a 0? He might be. I haven't seen him since the nerfs. Not a single time. Feels kind of bad, man. Avi, take out the Sniper. Another hero that has a decent match versus the Lina. A little bit more of a hero that benefits off of that Bloodlust and the Overcharge and the kind of defensive aspect of the IO, the relocate out. Still, I would be worried if I was Na'Vi in their mid lane. I got Lifestealer. If taken out now as Alliance, go for a Silencer. Ooh, this is interesting. This matchup is going to be okay-ish for the Silencer. Glaives of Wisdom spam is definitely a thing, but he does have to watch out for his movements. Thing is, when you're going for Glaives of Wisdom spam up against a Lina who has more range than you do, obviously you're going to be taking some right clicks before you deliver your right clicks of your own. And when you're throwing the Glaives, you're not moving, so the LSA is a little bit easier to land at that gut. On Navi side, they're going to go for Phantom Assassin as their last pick. A lot of deeps. They needed someone to do the damage. Can't really blame him for going for this Phantom Assassin. Matchup-wise, seems like it's actually pretty good. maybe a tough time up against the Bat Rider slightly, but the Blur is going to be an all-star up against Silencer and Juggernaut both. And again, it's a very similar situation to last game where Phantom Assassin is well, it was up against a Terrorblade in that case, but still up against just pure right clickers. Juggernaut will be happy to get an MKB. Silencer definitely a little bit less so. I do like the last pick from Na'Vi, although I do feel the opposite is so easy. It's a cakewalk with a Bat Rider and an IO with Global Silence cover. I would expect Alliance to start the fights the vast majority of the times, and Na'Vi at that point don't really have any responses. My audio isn't loud enough to know what this said. I'm a really disappointment of the Chinese community right now. Eternal shame upon my family. Smoke up either way from Na'Vi. I'll wait to introduce them because they may be running into a little bit of a target here in Loda. Does have the spin, obviously. Lift up is going to be used before the spin. LSA completely off, though. Still with this many heroes right-clicking him, he still might go down here. Leech Seed picked up and will kill him off. And also will heal up a lot of that spin damage, so Loda, walking into the wrong neighborhood, gets mugged. We'll give Dendi that first blood. First blood on Lina is about as best as you can hope for. Ooh, they're actually going to juggle up their lanes a little bit. Response play from Alliance, smoking up themselves. But they're going into a Darks here. Ion Shell was picked up. It will be a little bit of a smork fest right now. How good are the body blocks? They are not. There's Napalm slow. There's Ignite. Unfortunately, Ignite doesn't work with Napalm. Despite that not making any sense at all. General now to the tower, but Handskin, he ogre, he's smart. He don't care about a tower. It is a tier 2, though. He may care about Biver. Arriving to telekinesis the Bat Rider back in. Body blocks still almost non-existent. The tower shots still coming through, though, and it will get the kill. Biver, a lot of experience off of that one. General obviously getting pretty heavy benefits as well. Alliance trying to smork their way into tier 2s. That's a little bit of a hard sell. You know what, guys? Screw the introductions. You guys know who's playing what. I mean, you guys aren't here because you're just random guys wandering into a Dota stream. No, you're here because you know Alliance and you know Na'Vi. We're going to have a little bit, as I said, of a lane swap. Oh my god, those right clicks and the daggers. Blightstone is an item for sure, and when you're hitting for 91 a pop, Natus Vincere just got his ass kicked. Over in mid lane, Limp, victim of one of many perhaps combos, telekinesis into LSA. It's only level 1 Lina, so LSA is whatever, not going to do all that much. But deciding to put Pycat and Suniko up towards the top lane. Perhaps expecting a Juggernaut lane. Each trying to dodge the Juggernaut who's currently on the bottom lane. Suniko gonna get the Leech Seed onto Jonasafan, will give a lot of much needed juice towards Pycat. He's gonna use his stick and Biver's going to arrive. Telekinesis stunning everybody. Jonasafan and EGM getting their asses whooped right now by right clicks, and Pycat will get in far enough away to salve up. Jonasafan, oh, another Napalm turnaround. That was a big mistake. He could have just ran out, but I think he turned around for Napalm or got misclicked and hit with the pathing. Either way, Handskin now jumped by Pycat, Leech Seed, and lift up. Io doesn't really have anything to help Handskin with. The right clicks, not enough. Level 2 Rubik, unfortunately not there for him. Only working with that telekinesis, and telekinesis Rubik is pretty pathetic, honestly. 4-9 base damage with a small stun, but Pycat not done yet. And EGM, he got abandoned by his friendly Ogre, who, by the way, is still being chased down by Suniko, get punched in the face, and now EGM needs the sickest... Okay, never mind, he's dead. Na'Vi are smorking Alliance harder than Alliance are smorking Na'Vi. And this Treant Protector is doing so goddamn much, it's kind of insane. Like, you always hear, like, oh, you know, Treant Protector, he has big right clicks, he's able to harass the enemies away. But he never really does this much damage. Because usually there's just not this much fighting. But man, Suniko is finding those opportunities. He doesn't even have boots yet. He has no movement speed advantage. He just had... Okay, now he has boots. He has the Orb of Venom only. And he's still able to land those right clicks. Insane. Now let's take a quick look at this boring lane over towards bottom. Loda's gonna get some decent farm. General should be getting perfectly fine farm as well. No one should be dying on this bottom lane unless someone makes a big mistake. Surge trumps Blade Fear every single time, but Jonasafan once again getting hit with some pretty heavy right clicks. Pycat, 8 stacks of napalm, gets out of the Batrider's damage, and now the Treant is on the run, running through the fire and the flames. He'll carry on. Punch Batrider once. Orb of Venom gets the leech seed. That should guarantee the kill. Punch him in the face. Sneeko probably will die. No, maybe not. He has living armor. He has a TP out. Orbs to the face. Oh, he teleports away. What a baller. Holy crap. Sneeko has been playing out of his mind in this series. By the way, people are dying over in mid lane. Dendi aggroed Limp a little bit too much, and he'll get to the shrine. He'll be fine. Pycat, the aggressive tri-lane Phantom Assassin with a Rubik and Tree. And I can't help but feel that Alliance will be having a little bit more success here if a Juggernaut was in this lane. Obviously, you still take all those right clicks, but you're able to put out so much more guaranteed damage as opposed to the Batrider, who saw all those stacks of napalm on Pycat do a little bit, but ultimately, if he's not standing in that fire, not doing any damage now, are you? They're still trying to battle in this lane. No reason for Navi to dissolve this lane. They're finding so much success here. Nico is going in for round 2, along with the lift up from Biver with the leech seed and the jump in from Pycat. Jonasafan dead before the IO can even arrive with that tether. Hanskin as well, not looking too hot with the right clicks. They'll take him down. Somebody call the police, because I'm pretty sure what's happening up towards top lane is not legal. At least not where I live. That was not an LSA that Dendi was looking for. And that curse is actually going to be doing a lot of damage to him. Should be fine still, but you know what? Dendi doesn't have to do anything in this game. He can just handle the lane as he is. Light lead for the Lina. General's having a pretty nice time against Loda as well. No winning state here for the Darkseer, but a perfectly fine one. He's going to go into the jungle and he'll be fine in that regard. This top lane is being absolutely dumpstered by Na'Vi. Not even close. Pretty fast jungle, and this is very frequently what we see from Batriders who go towards the off lane. Struggle. Try to scrape together level 3, go into the jungle, and then pop back into lane when they're like level 6 or something like that. They get pretty good clear times. The concern right now for Alliance isn't really going to be that Batrider, even though he is 0-4-0, 5-6 minutes in the game. It's kind of depressing. The fact that now what the hell did the IO and the Ogre do? Ogre's going to try to apply some pressure over in general, but it's only a level 2 Ogre Magi. He doesn't really have much to contribute in killing off a Darkseer because he's so tanky. IO can stack, I guess, but there's no one... over in mid lane. Silencer lifted up into an LSA. Leech Seed is there as well. Sneeko and Beaver, they're going all over the place. Collecting heads, taking names, thinking about diving tier 1s. Probably a little bit too deep for Sneeko this time. These supports are going to be kind of in an awkward position where they don't really have access to their safe lane. When was the last time you guys saw a safe lane that was shut down this hard? So much so that nobody at all is comfortable going in. Now usually if a carry is having a bad time in a safe lane, whatever, he'll go to the jungle, he'll go to the off lane, they'll find some way to switch it up, and then like a ranged support is going to be like hiding or something like that and just absorbing experience. That's not standard, but it's what happens. This is never what happens. You never ever see a safe lane completely abandoned like this. General, whoa, totally didn't miss that, guys. Is going to dodge the danger, but oh, AGM, don't tase me, bro. Got zapped in the jungle by Biver. These movements from these supports are insane. Oh, notice a fan. I think I'll go back to the lane. It seems safe now. And he's dead. 11 versus 0. God, is there some sort of mercy rule in effect now? There should be in Dota. I mean, it's a 4K lead off of an 11 kill advantage, which is perhaps not like bad. It's not something that you can't recover from, but it's still 7 minutes in the game. There's still nobody getting farm up on top. The Juggernaut at least is still getting farm, so Loda is going to be pretty happy. But this is becoming more and more a Juggernaut game. He has all the steroids and he has all the backups, so yeah, he is in a pretty good position matchup-wise, with the Hand of Might especially. They have an Omni Slash and a Spin. General, though, going to try to run away. He's going to be cut off by the Batrider. No lasso there, and General's going to get ahead of Jonasafan. 4 heroes in bottom for Alliance to do a whole lot of nothing, and now Na'Vi are setting their trap. The TP coming in from Sonico. He's level 5 right now. He's still invis. Although his trees are kind of being destroyed right now, they still want to defend their structures. In general, what's his vacuum looking like? Level 1. Level 3 Ion Shell will not really do enough. Loda takes a crit. Never lucky. Will back off successfully. Na'Vi don't really get all that much. But again, they don't really need to get all that much. It is the burden of this game is all on Alliance. They have to make those plays. Along those lines, well, Io's only level 3. If they had a little bit more experience on Io, I'm not really sure how he would get it, given how safe lane went. But if he did, relocate with the Juggernaut, trying to leverage Omni Slash as much as you can. That's how you come back into this game, by getting those quick assassination type pickoffs. Get the Silencer involved in those kills as well, start stealing some intelligence, be able to grab some. The Darkseer, he may experience some really significant mana troubles later on. Of course, the Phantom Assassin, be dumb. If you're able to take out her intelligence, then yeah, just, things get unhappy for her really, really quickly. Right now, Na'Vi gonna look to hit the brakes a little bit. Pycat's gonna leave the top lane, give that over to Dendi. Double Nulls, looking for that Bloodstone buildup. On top of the net worth chart, despite being involved in the least action. That's mid lane farm for you right there. It's a favorable matchup as well. 2,500 Silencer, 38 for 12 versus the 63 for 8. Selena in the CS department. Nico's getting the advantage here. That rotate out of the mid lane, getting Dendi into the jungle. Jungling Lina isn't exactly a thing, but hey, you don't need to do it for that long, just until the Treant gets level 6, and he will have that very shortly. Alliance, they are power farming their Juggernaut. They will have steroids galore for this hero. Batrider is able to find himself a couple of minutes undisturbed in this jungle. The Blink Dagger can get Alliance right back in this game. Alliance, they're not feeling hot about this, but they still are in a position to recover, assuming they kind of limit their deaths for the next 5-10 minutes of this game. Like if this score gets pushed to like 13 or 14-0, that's still like a fine threshold for Alliance. That's something that they can recover from, simply because of how their draft is designed. They start bleeding out more heroes, then hope is very quickly going to drain away. Io needs to get experience. The Silencer, not even with that global silence yet, just needs to keep farming. Does seem like Alliance are 100% now reliant on assassination attempts. Speaking of, Bibber get charged down by Loda, FaZe, and Bloodlust. He's pretty quick. Bibber is going to get into his safety of his tower. Jonas Fan does not have his lasso. Just have to watch as the Rubik leaves to safety. Will do the same. I don't think they saw him. Level 2 vacuum. Tower's still going to be beaten down. Treant Protector. The battering ram.
Tower is under attack. Dire structures are fortified.
No one's on top lane still for Alliance. Na'Vi have been working with 3 lanes. Alliance really only with 2. Duel start shoving this bottom lane. Was already previously shoved pretty hard. Load with the Ring of Basilius turned on. Might just make an even tower trade. That is going to be pretty big for Alliance, although TPs are coming in. So Nico, go invis, give that armor to the tower. Overgrow. There is a deny threshold here, but he's going to walk away. Not really sure about that overgrowth, but for Alliance, it's a big trade. Losing your top lane tier 1 actually makes this lane a little bit more workable because the creeps are a little bit closer to a tier 2 instead of just tier 1, so it's very, very difficult to dive that, at least compared to a tier 1. And it'll be an even gold exchange, and when you're behind, you want even gold exchanges. You can. Bivver going to run into an Ogre Magi. He's going to be pretty unhappy that he only stole a level 1 spell, but it's not like he could have gotten anything better. On Skin is daggered, and with the Ion Shell, oh my god, that's a crit. That's a double damage read on Phantom Assassin. I thought that was doing a little more damage. Hard to see with all these particles on her, but yeah, Pycat is loaded up with steroids as well. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Well, 12-0. It's only a level 3 Ogre Magi, so it's not that bad. But at the same time, it's a level 3 Ogre Magi 13 minutes in. Like that, this right here, this is not the face of a happy ogre. This is what sadness looks like. If you're ever playing Pictionary and you get sadness, just draw Ogre Magi with 679 net worth 13 minutes in the game. At least he has boots, right? We've seen worse. Tower will be destroyed on bottom, and this time no trade will be happening for Alliance. Na'Vi, Hand of Midas, number 1 being built up on the tree. Like that's gonna be it. Hand of Midas got 1 on the Silencer on the other end, 2 on the Juggernaut. So Alliance are definitely building up for the comeback.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Ooh. Yeah, we have a comeback build here for Alliance. This is a necessary evil. A desperate move for sure, but they have to do this. Have to find some way of getting their kind of underfarmed cores and the Bat and the Silencer back into this game. Yeah, it's going to mean that the next, well, I guess what was a 10-minute timing is going to kind of extend a little bit more for Na'Vi, where they have so much more time to play this out and just look for those assassination attempts. If Alliance, again, can limit their deaths, then they will have a pretty good shot with these items. Na'Vi, they know that there are at least a couple Midases on the other end, just to their 1 on the tree, which is not hugely relevant. We'll have to keep this pressure up. We'll do just that with the smoke. Top lane, Pycat's pushing. Was actually a pretty vulnerable target up towards top, especially since Relocate on IO is available. GM's just chilling with Limp. Just looking to keep this Silencer safe. I think they just caught a glimpse of him. His Observed Ward, but Alliance know that something's up. They see only Pycat up towards top lane. And now they see Dendi. Jig is up. Tower is not long for this world. Alliance starting with the split push. At least as best they can considering the circumstances. Juggernaut's still on top of the net worth chart. Very impressed by how Loda's just been able to dodge most of these really bad engagements. Keep himself farming. But, oh, Io lifts it up. This time he has no Glimmer Cape. And with the Laguna Blade, not sure if the Io deserved that, but, you know, he's super dead. Tower and a kill. Pushing that lead to 6k. Are they looking for Roche now? Is the Desolator up? Almost up. He needs that courier to get back. Na'Vi can definitely look to do that. Just a little bit. This is not looking like a great game for Alliance, seeing as though the net worth experience making no real moves in their favor. But it's not really increasing in Na'Vi's favor as much as you would really expect. They don't really have the most snowbally of lineups. Darkseer does have a mechanism. He is very tanky, he's a very high level. But Darkseer, unlike a Sand King or a Centaur or a Clockwork, isn't really going to just be constantly laying it into you.
This should make my life easier.
These supports the same thing for Na'Vi. On the other end, if it was Na'Vi with the Ogre Magi, they had a Vengeful Spirit or a CM, then things would be really bad. But Rubik and Tree are still kind of more so on the passive side, the kind of defensive side of the support roster. They still have, you know, a little bit of hope here for Alliance, despite the score. That hope will start to disappear as Na'Vi pick up more objectives for free. Dota, with all the steroids in the world, start tearing into this structure. General's gonna TP in. He has a mechanism. I think he could tank through an Omni Slash. Vacuum is gonna do a whole lot of nothing. Will eventually hold his tower. This is just buying some time. Batrider is gonna make the ping out. Hey guys, they're at Roshan. He is very, very correct. There is an overgrowth they have to worry about, but a Treant Protector is... they're worrying about an illusion first. Kind of kicking Jonathan's ass with those lucky crits. Pycat will grab that double life, and now Jonathan is going to arrive. Pycat is going to get some of the overgrowth. Gets a big crit on the dagger, and gets a free kill, though he's still silenced. He's most likely going to lose his first life. Spin now onto Sneeko. Not quite going to kill him just yet. Pycat's going to get another jump out, another big crit on EGM before he goes down. Omnislash will get Loda a double, but Dendi now arrives with the Laguna Blade, making an even 2 for 2. And Loda hit with the dagger. That's not where you want to be, my friend. There's no one to back him up here. At least not to bail him out in so far as an IO. He will spin, but there's no spin TPs. And I'm pretty sure... What Darkseer? You don't need a Darkseer in this fight. Man, Pycat was rolling lucky there. Getting crits when he's like guaranteed to die. But gets a crit with his last dying breath. Not an irrelevant amount of damage coming from this Phantom Assassin. Now that was Alliance to also pick off the Aegis, but I'm not really sure if that's going to affect Na'Vi that much. Dendi has a Shadow Blade, I think, coming out to him. That's a full completed Shadow Blade. He's looking to step up to his assassination role as well. PA and Lina both looking to fill that assassination role. Tower is super dead despite Na'Vi not having an Aegis to really make this push a super safe one. They now have General. That's their Aegis right there with the mechanism. So far, it's been relatively quiet in this game, this Darkseer. But when he does start to play the game, he'll have most likely level 4 Vacuum with Blink Dagger. And that's not something that Alliance really want to deal with right now. So Nico, speaking of, is going to be running into a lot of heroes and will be dropped. Global Silence as well. And this is going to slow down Dendi's reinforcements. So looking for EGM, has the Laguna Blade. He's going to run in with the Invis. EGM going to try to pull away, but Dagger's coming in with the LSA and the big Lightning Bolt. They're looking also for Loda. They take out his healing. General's going to try to get in there as well with the Surge. Hey, Alliance, they get themselves on the board 17-3. Still losing an IO for a Treant Protector. Well worth it for Alliance, as long as they don't also lose Loda. That will be bad. Big crit! Says, screw you, Blade Fury. Coup de grace is better. Hanskin is going to get dove in the base. What level is he right now? Level 5 Ogre? It's just not fair versus level 14 PA. That's going to be another one for Na'Vi. Looking for more. Dendi's not going to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Sees Jonas Fan with no Blink Dagger. And that looks to me like a free kill for Dendi. Jonas Fan gets the Flame Break. Nothing coming out of that one. 20-3. My lord. I mean, last game, Na'Vi had some pretty good matchups. Pretty nice from Na'Vi, but this game is one that Alliance, I'm sure, will probably like to reset from as soon as possible. You don't want the game like this sticking in your mind for too long. Oh, Limp. And pretty aggressively, we'll get the tower deny. Loda's going to arrive, needs some backup. There's the Overgrowth, knowing there's no Global Silence. Na'Vi might want to fight here, get the stun up onto the Juggernaut. EGM, not going to yank him out just yet, gets pulled back into a vacuum, and Loda will fall. And now the jump forward from Pycat, 700 crit, Laguna Blade onto the Ogre. Limp and Batrider are both kind of wondering what the hell do they do here, because they didn't do any damage to Na'Vi. Again, General finally showing up to this game, because he wasn't needed up till now. Gonna open up the front gates for Na'Vi to poke at the high ground. Now, does Lina have that damage talent just yet? Yes, she does. She has the extra right-click damage with the Shadow Blade, and she's just looking for some sort of opportunity like this. Limp lifted up, has a Force Staff, but I don't think that's going to work. The Shrine, no, it won't work. Pycat is going to get a double. He's also going to go for a Hanskin. He daggered the Silencer and jumped in towards the Ogre. And I think killing the Ogre makes him king, right? That's how it works. Well, EGM and Jonas and Fan are just going to have to watch their buildings be destroyed. 21 minutes in. 3-25 now. That's going to be mid-racks down. Na'Vi with no signs of stopping. Oh, Dendi with a feign retreat. Oh, onto Loda with the Laguna Blade. They got him again. Get mind gamed. Now the Batrider trying to initiate, in quotation marks, of course. EGM's like, get me the hell out of here, guys. I want out. He's going to get out, but his allies are not alive, so who cares about an IO? Nobody. Notice the Fan's back. He's going to buy out. Loda has a buyout as well. The Global Silence Alliance, I'm not really sure if they can do much here. Limp's going to try move forward. Still, Dendi has his eyes on the prize, and it will be the Phantom Assassin. Ready to jump into the drop of a hat. Dendi gets Force Staffed in. Big play if he can get out, but oh, actually no, Pycat wants in instead. He's like, yo, Force Staff her? Why not me? I want to fight. She's going to get 2. An Alliance, they use Global Silence to do, well, about half of HP worth of Dendi damage. Was, by the way, 28 Bloodstone charges. So even if he dies, pretty sure he doesn't care. Or stab. Oh, the LSA combo with the vacuum is perfect. Oh my god. Somebody please call the cops. Omni Slash is going to do very little versus General. He'll fall as well. 3-31. And that's going to be GG well played. That was one of the most one-sided matchups of teams that shouldn't have one-sided matchups I've ever seen in my life. Like, there are games where you know one team is better, and you expect one team to win.
Radiant team pick.
And I hope nothing else breaks, because so far nothing has been working properly. But guys, hopefully that's not going to detract from this series. Welcome back to
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
But you know,
Reserve time.
since like an Alliance versus Na'Vi used to be a great matchup when they, used to be the rosters that we all knew back then. But nowadays, we'll see if still should be a pretty good series. I'm Mike Loris, gonna be your caster for this game, and man, I'm just gonna freaking lose it, tilt out, and the rest of the cast is gonna be horrible. So you guys are gonna have to hope that technology is on my side today. But you know what? We have ourselves a draft. A quick look at the bans. Looks like it's fairly normal. Interesting to see Monkey King like banned out all the time in Euro, and then when you go into other regions, he's like let through all the time. Like in NA, they hate this hero. So it's regional differences, I suppose. But I think the world agrees. Terrorblade is definitely someone you got to be afraid of. Terrorblade, I think, I've been told by multiple sources, best carry in the game, and I don't think I've doubted any of those sources. I don't even know if I've ever held the opinion that he's not the best carry in the game, at least for right now. Do many things with this hero, and of course the Warlock for that additional bit of team fight. Added to the opening of Na'Vi Alliance Legion Commander, very early pick. You know what? Can't really fault them for that. They've,
Radiant team down. Dire team down. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Legion Commander definitely one of those primo powerful heroes, and Io definitely an Alliance hero through and through. So you know it's all normal there. The interesting thing comes in these bans that are kind of forced now from Na'Vi because of that Io pick in the Slark, in the Tiny. We've seen a couple of teams mix in Bristleback. I think those are, along with the Sven, probably like the big
Seconds remaining.
as like, you know, real IO partners. But if you are going to find yourself in a lane alliance where you're going up against kind of a mediocre to weak safe lane, then you could definitely run the Legion Commander IO and just absolutely destroy it.
Dusk.
Now up against a Terrorblade, Warlock, and now a Tusk, I'm pretty sure that's not quite going to be the scenario here if they do try to run that. The game plan usually with that lane is you get a lot of movement speed on Legion Commander, you run at the softest hero you can find, and then just right click them down. And you can't really do that because Terrorblade will just turn around and fight you. Tusk is rather durable as well, so yeah, you might be able to get some right clicks in, but with the Metamorphosis, with the poking from the Warlock, and the heal from the Warlock especially, I'm not really sure if that's going to be a feasible way for Alliance to at least aggressively play through that off lane. And okay, we have a new hero. Is this hero just get added to Dota? Does anyone know what this guy does? Skywrath Mage, the pick for Alliance, is definitely a decent matchup hero, at least in a vacuum, versus Terrorblade. You know, like the overall power level of Skywrath Mage notwithstanding, magic damage is definitely what you want up against that TB. Proactive silence up against that Warlock, the fact that he is able to just wander into a lane and kind of aggressively support it as opposed to the Aya who defensively supports it. Very powerful with that Skywrath, and well, a little bit better now that there's a Clockwork on the other side. Clockwork, the pick for the Na'Vi side, is going to paint a secondary target for the Skywrath Mage. The primary target is of course that Legion Commander duel. Really classic combo right there. You just duel them and drop a flare on them. And well, Terrorblade definitely not going to survive that. Tusk probably same thing. Clockwork may actually, but if he has a Blade Mail, ooh, you don't want to be doing that. That is a bad idea. Skywrath Mage, I'm not really sure if I like him defensively here at all. Like, he is paper thin, and Tusk, Clockwork on the other end. I think Skywrath Mage, they still have 0 base armor. It's definitely very low amounts of base armor, and Terrorblade does a lot of physical damage, I hear. So the Skywrath Mage is definitely a powerful hero if he's way in the back and is just not going to be touched by anyone, but not really sure if that's really in the cards. It's definitely difficult to maintain your positioning up against a Tusk and a Clockwork, who are both going to be looking to get on top of you in some way, shape, or form. Alliance, they have a hero that will try to resist that in the Ember Spirit. I do like this pick quite a bit. I mean, you look at the Na'Vi side, see the Clockwork, a little bit of crowd control effects. It is decent at chasing down Ember Spirit, I suppose, but it's not really what you want in order to pick him off. And the other stun, Tusk Punch, the Warlock Rock, it is definitely a little bit lacking as far as good crowd control versus the Ember Spirit from the Na'Vi side. Now, they're lacking their mid lane hero, and there are a couple of big mid lane heroes who still have stuns. Not the Shadow Fiend, he doesn't, and he's banned out anyway. Lina, the pick for Na'Vi, definitely would be a favorable one. I don't think I've seen Lina versus Ember Spirit and Io, but that's definitely, I would say, still Lina favored. Like, the extra juice that you give to the Ember Spirit is not irrelevant, but Lina can just put out so much extra damage that it may just not even matter. Also, you're looking at a potential puck for the Na'Vi side, get a little bit more of an early game twist onto the draft. With a Clockwork, you're usually not looking to go super late anyway, so it would be a fairly strong pick. I mean, Dandy puck.
goes with you. Can't remember the last time I went without you.